Welcome to Tri-State Tailgate. We're here for episode 4. We got a good one for everybody here today. Hope everybody had a great week, and we're just excited to talk about some football. I know all of our teams have my team started a week ago, but I know Tennessee and now Georgia have now started their spring football, and really all across the country, many teams have started spring ball. So it is football time again, not in Tennessee, but across the country. Amen. So we're excited about that and looking forward to it. But I'm Adam. This is Chunk. We call him Chunk. Some people call him James. That's his birth name. But he's our Tennessee fan right here. And then you got Michael right here below us. He's a big Dog fan. We feel sorry for him. And we're just three guys here just to have a good time. Hopefully give you some laugh, give you some information, and just hear our thoughts on all things college football. So we're glad you're here with us tonight, and glad you decided to be with us. And what we're going to do and we're going to talk about tonight is our, I guess, prediction. And all of our teams, they've kind of come out this week with over-under win totals for 2026, and not only national championship odds, but also per team. So we're going to talk about the Tri-State teams tonight, Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee football, and looking at their schedule, breaking down game by game, and giving you guys our input going into spring of where we think our teams are going to be this year. So to get kicked off, we're going to start off with Alabama Crimson Tide here tonight. Looking at their schedule, as these are all odds from FanDuel from today, 322. And as of right now, I don't know if you guys are shocked by that number, but 8.5 is where Alabama sits right now. What are your guys' initial thoughts with seeing the Crimson Tide at only 8.5 wins, Chunk? What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, with your new Keelan Russell coming back, we seen him last year a little bit. So I have confidence in you guys, making some good plays on offense and be able to get the job done here. But looking at your this schedule right here, I can see that Florida State, I mean – is that going to be a win? I mean, I know last year was a fluke. I mean, come on, guys. It was a fluke last year, let's be honest, because Alabama just wasn't established. I mean, if you agree with me, they weren't established yet. And then later on in the season, they started establishing and, just winning. But that should be a win right there at Florida State. Mm-hmm. But 8-5, I mean, I see a loss right there at Tennessee.
Yeah, at Neyland. I do too.
At Neyland, I mean, that's the only reason, Adam. I mean, I love you, brother. That's the only reason I say that is it's at Tennessee, and we know the atmosphere there. I mean, I've got confidence in Tennessee's defense. If we can – before you guys come to us, I mean, later on, if we can establish our offense and our quarterback, that's going to be a really good game. I mean, I believe it could be close. So I'm kind of leaning towards a loss right there at that one. Not sure just yet. But LSU, when I look at LSU, I think, Lane Kiffin, I think of Sam Leavitt. You said he was injured last year. Mm-hmm. At Arizona State, but he may play a little bit, upcoming spring practice, but buddy, that's at LSU, Death Valley, buddy. Have you been there before, Death Valley, Adam? I think you said you wanted to go.
Yeah, but LSU it's a different rivalry though with LSU. They've just always, and that was I guess that was the Georgia-Bama rivalry before that rivalry really started, and because LSU was really that team that was always very physical, very consistent, and now they got somebody I was thinking of it just today with Lane Kiffin coming in. I mean, think about how LSU is now going to be presented, how they're going to be more of an offensive team, and I mean, can you imagine seeing LSU all the time going on for fourth down and 1, like Lane likes to do? That's going to be just kind of weird to see. I mean, it's good, but I just don't know. It's going to look different at LSU just because you just know them for their physicality. And I don't know if Lane's bringing that in.
Go ahead.
If I drop my 2 cents into that game, which is another strange thing that the SEC is doing, we're going to a 9-game conference schedule. And that's why I think that's why these over-unders are as low as they are. and as low as we would typically see for our teams. I mean, you would never see an 8.5 total win season for Alabama, a 9.5 for Georgia, 7.5 for Tennessee. You wouldn't usually see that. But something that I know very well, because I've been on the losing end of this, as much as I hate to say it, if you give Kalen DeBoer a bye week, which he has before that LSU game, before he goes to LSU, he has his only bye week for the season, which I think is, again, strange that they've got one bye week now when we've got a 9-game conference schedule. I see that maybe going into Alabama's favor. I don't know that – I'm not saying that Lane Kiffin can't get those guys ready after a bye week or anything like that, because I think that he can. But, man, Kalen DeBoer is very good at that. I will give him that. He's very good at getting guys ready and getting y'all's team ready after a bye week.
Mm-hmm.
So, right, and the reason why I said LSU is if you know Lane Kiffin, you know who the Mad Hatter, Les Miles. I feel like Lane Kiffin has got that alter ego as Les Miles. Like you said, he goes for it on 4th and 1. I mean, fake punt, fake field goal. I mean, there's no telling what this guy will do. But like I said, LSU, that could be a loss. I don't know for sure. But the only other team I see on your schedule, Adam, is Auburn. And that's a huge rivalry for you guys. So what are we going to expect with Alex Goulash coming in there? And, is he going to get Auburn established? Is he going to turn Auburn around in time? But I think the over-under, I think they've pretty much nailed it on the head. Maybe give or take, Tennessee, Auburn, or LSU win or loss there. But I feel pretty comfortable about that 8.5.
Well, I feel Alabama. So as a Georgia fan, I got to speak up there. I feel a little disrespected since that game wasn't ever brought up on. I mean, I feel like that's going to be a big-time game. You got October 10th. I know it's in Tuscaloosa, and I know the Dogs were on our sideline after that SEC championship doing the BTA, son. I mean, they were hitting the benches with the belts, and they were doing all that stuff, which is nothing but bulletin board material. But I feel like that's a game you got to talk about as well, because no matter where you play it, whether it be at Alabama or Georgia, that's going to be a tough game. And something, again, I'm going to bring up, Kalen DeBoer is phenomenal after a bye week. Well, guess what he doesn't have after Mississippi State, at Mississippi State, and then going back home to face Georgia. He doesn't have that bye week like he's had in the last 2 years.
Yeah. Well, that's true. I mean, look at that game stretch right there. I mean, Mississippi State, give them their flowers. Okay. But look, you got Georgia, Tennessee, A&M, LSU, Vanderbilt. That's 5 games in a row. I mean, my goodness, that is a stretch right there. I mean, I know we got a bye week after A&M, but I mean, you look at the whole schedule. I mean, that's a gauntlet. I mean, really, every week you better bring your lunch, son.
Yeah,
I mean,
and no bye week after the home game. It's inevitably going to be a night game, I would say, in Tuscaloosa. No bye week after Georgia versus Alabama, and go straight to Neyland right after that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's going to be tough. But, I mean, looking at it, though, I remember a couple years ago, I know it was with Milroe, and we were a different team, to me, offensively, really, than what I think Kalen wants to be. But when we went to LSU at night against Brian Kelly's LSU Tigers, I mean, we had them at night. I mean, we beat them up pretty good. I can't remember the exact total, but I know it was a blowout. I mean, it wasn't close in the fourth quarter. So, I mean, they've been there before. Can they do it again? You hope so with this somewhat of a veteran team. There is a lot of new faces. I mean, new faces at quarterback, new faces offensive line. Receivers have a lot of kind of returning players, maybe not experience-wise, but maybe by their class, And then defensively, the secondary, like I said, and the defensive line is going to be the real key to this year. But, I mean, just looking at it, I think we can handle it. I'm thinking more of a 10-2, 9-3. I think that's where you put Bama in this schedule. But, that could change. I mean, if you don't bring your lunch against a team even like South Carolina, where people may say, well, they're down, they're out. But they still got Lenora Sellers. They've got great talent around him. I mean, if you don't bring it every single week, you can get beat in the SEC. I
Yeah.
mean, you talked, and Chump brought it up against Florida State. I don't know if it wasn't that they weren't ready. It's maybe that they overlooked them. Saying this team went 2-10 last year, didn't do nothing last year. We're going to their house. They're just going to lay down because we're Alabama. Ain't nobody laying down because you're Alabama. Everybody's going to get up because you're Alabama. Everybody wants to whip your tail. For 20 years, it doesn't matter what team you run out there. They're going to be thinking they're playing Nick Saban's Alabama team.
Right.
And they want to wear us out. That is the standard Bama has made, and that is what they want to do. So if Bama doesn't come in every single week with the mentality of it doesn't matter who it is, if we're playing Chattanooga, Eastern Carolina, it don't matter. It better feel like we're playing LSU at night every week.
Right.
Every week. You can't take a week off now, or you're going to be out of a playoff. You're going to be out of a bid for a national title, out of the SEC championship picture. You've got to bring it every single week, and you just hope these players understand that. Going into it. Because like I said last year, when they played FSU and they got beat like they did, everybody wants to do that to you. Everybody for the next 2 years or 20 years, I mean. They want to beat you because of what you did for so long. And that everybody's going to bring their best against Alabama.
And you know what, Michael? No disrespect about the Georgia thing, but my opinion is just Alabama wins that game because of the home field advantage. That's my opinion.
And that does play a huge factor. And that's kind of what we'll get into when I talk about Georgia's over-under. But, yeah, that does play a huge factor for me being a Georgia fan going back to Tuscaloosa. It does kind of it makes me worry of that game quite a bit.
Well, let's just go through it. I mean, what do you guys think? So Eastern Carolina, you would pray, that they come out the gate running. So we would say that's a W. Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to face a new head coach at Kentucky, new offense there at Kentucky, that's honestly what kind of got you to there at FSU last year. You're going and facing the Gus Malzahn team and a new defensive coordinator like a completely revamped team. When you play a completely revamped team in the beginning of the season, it's hard. And you know why that is? It's because you have no tape on them. So you almost don't know what to expect. Even though, he's coming from Oregon, you would say, well, we're going to study some Oregon film. He may go there and change his philosophy because of the players around him. So you don't know. So you're really hoping they don't overlook Kentucky and we're going to Kentucky. Would y'all say that's a win right there?
That's a win.
Okay, so then we got FSU at home. I hope that's just a bloodbath. I'm so tired of them fans talking and that field storming last year. I'm thinking that's a W.
I hope y'all curve stomp them, man.
Yeah, I don't see y'all losing to Florida State again.
And I think that right there could be a big telltale in Mike Norvell's future. That game right there, and especially if they lose. If they lose, how do they lose?
Yeah,
if they come in Alabama and it's a 28+ point out blowout, it could get real nasty.
But I tell you what, on the flip side of that, if they come in and they have a competitive game, maybe Mike Norvell saves his job. Even if they do lose, let's say they do lose, but they lose like a pretty close game with Alabama. Then I think that he would be okay for at least a little while. Once he gets into conference play, once he starts playing ACC opponents and he loses all those games like he did last year, then I'd say no matter how big his buyout is, they're going to go ahead and can him.
There's only a few, so much of those close games that's going to save your job, buddy.
Yeah.
Once you get into conference play, he'll if he keeps like he did last year, he'll get out of there.
Yeah.
Okay. So so that's a W. That's Bama's 3-0 at this point. So then you go. Let's say we go South Carolina. We're playing them at home. You'd hope that, again, Alabama shows up. But think about it. The past really 2 years we played South Carolina. They've had the lead in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been right there on the door. In Tuscaloosa, we had to save it there at the end. And then last year we had a crazy ending, and they were up 8 points. We come back, and we scored, I think, 14 or 15 in the fourth quarter against them at their house. So they're going to come in looking vengeful. So that one I almost want to put a question mark down for, but you hope that Bama shows up and can go in there and get the W. But do you guys agree that would probably be a win?
Yeah, absolutely. And at this point, Shane Beamer's seat is getting really hot right now whenever Alabama comes in there and beats them.
Well, that's another one where if he comes in there and is competitive, then it makes him look a little bit better. But losing to Alabama the last 2 years like he has, that's another one Shane Beamer probably has circled, just like he probably does Georgia, which is two big opponents he's got on his schedule he's got to get past.
Yeah, huge opponents. Yes, sir. So, but if you go through that, if we said they would win that game, they're 4-0. Then you go Mississippi State. We'll just go ahead and we'll say that one's a win. I mean, I don't think they really beat, but they're going to be looking at the Georgia game. This is the first big test where you're playing
Mississippi State.
Mississippi
State fans are going to come back to this podcast, this episode, 15 minutes in, just to call us out if they do happen to win. Because because there's no bye week in between Mississippi State and Georgia, there's no bye week. So they could say, "Hey, Alabama's looking ahead of us."
Yeah.
That's a scary position.
Yeah.
Don't remind me. Don't remind me. Every week, man. Every week is man. I mean, I don't want to disrespect, but like I say, you're looking at Georgia, and like I just did it. You think about it, Mississippi State. We're looking forward to Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know what I mean, so you hope
Georgia did the same thing 2 years ago and almost lost at Kentucky. Before they had a bye week before coming to Tuscaloosa.
Yeah,
and it's almost like they did the same thing.
Yeah, it wasn't. Didn't last year? Didn't they play Tennessee before we played them?
Yeah, and we had the bye week again, and we almost lost to Tennessee.
Yeah, so that's a big game for both teams. They just know the magnitude of it.
Yeah,
that's a huge game. So that's the game I get to, and I'm like, just because of what they did in the SEC title game, I'm thinking that could be the first L right there. I mean, just as a realistic Bama fan, with a new quarterback, you're coming in playing a really experienced Georgia team. I mean, if you take the loyalty out of it, I mean, because if it's loyalty and not a little bit of scrutiny, I mean, I'm saying 12-0. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But realistically, you're saying you're going to have a new quarterback, either way you look at it, that's got to go against a Kirby Smart team defense that's going to be after you. You know what I mean? They're coming to your house. They want to do it, and that's a game I would say is probably going to be a loss. I mean, realistically. What do you guys think?
Well, like I say, if we get into once we get into the Georgia one, I'm going to hint on that. But man, I don't know. Like that is one of them that I kind of worry about, only because you say like what they did in the SEC championship, but some of the things they did in the SEC championship, gloating and stuff on the sidelines, it makes me worry that they're gonna have a fire lit under them, saying, "Man, these guys were saying they were giving us BTA. We got to go out there and return the favor." So that's one to me that I don't know, man. Like that's one that we'll have to see. We'll have to see, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll have to see how those 5 weeks of the season go.
Yeah.
And just see, hey, could we beat them, or how do we look?
In that week, I know I'm going to be saying, man, Alabama's going to go whoop them. It's at Tuscaloosa. But in the spring, you're looking at it from a bird's eye view, and you're saying, looking at the way the schedule looks right now, looking at bringing in a new quarterback. But I mean, if we start the season off hot and that quarterback looks like a Heisman contender, my complexion will completely change.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, you know what I mean? But I really think in this week right here, this Georgia and Tennessee 2 weeks in a row. Well, make or break, but I really think that's you could lose either one of those. Like, I think we split that set right there. Either we beat Georgia and we could lose at Tennessee, or we lose to Georgia and then we go into Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? So I think that right there, almost you could just say we split those 2 games right there.
Toss up.
Toss up either way. So if we put the Georgia game that we lose at home, then we go into Neyland. Now, I think with the past 2 times we've been to Neyland, in 22 and 24, I believe Bama's going to break that streak this time. I just do. Now, I know Neyland, and it's voted by many people as the toughest place to play in college football. And I don't doubt one bit that it is. I had a friend, like I said in the first podcast, they went to the Bama-Tennessee game a few years ago. He said his son was literally crying tears out of his eyes, not because he was sad, but because of the noise level in that place.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a true hostile environment to play in. So, but I'm really hoping Bama goes in there and can handle business, especially coming off a win or especially a loss in that Georgia game.
Right.
What do you think, Sean?
The reason why I say it's a loss, Adam, this is my whole reason is we've got Jim Knowles. We've got transfers. we've got our defense is a lot better this year than I think it's going to be since it was last year. So I think we're going to have a good defense here for Bama's offense because you got young, that Keelan Russell guy. If he isn't established yet during this time of your schedule, I think our defense can hold our own. And as far as our offense, that's the only thing that's got me debating on. I feel deep down inside, as a true Tennessee fan, we're going to win, but, with our offense, man, it's just that quarterback. That's the main position I'm concerned about. And if we can get established before this game, that's the only reason. That's why I say we're going to win, man. It's just that offense. But, I think we could pull it out. Out.
Well, then, like I said, so you got UGA. This is the goal. UGA at Neyland. You come back home, you got to play Marcel Reed and A&M.
Yeah.
Last year they went undefeated all the way till they played Texas. I mean, they were a good football team, but now when they played Texas, which was maybe a more legit team than they had really seen, then they played, of course, Miami at home in the first round of the playoffs. They played big boy football and lost both those games. So were they a pretender, or were they really a contender? Were they a pretender, or were they a contender? There was really the difference, and it really showed that maybe they were last year a pretender. This year, can they be a contender? Can they be one that actually contends for a championship? Because they've got Wilcom Formby, which is a tackle of ours, went over there. He's playing offensive line for him. You got Marcel Reed's coming back. Casey Concepcion, great wide receiver. He's gone, but Isaiah Horton from Alabama steps in. He was a great receiver for us last year. So if he comes in and can play somewhat consistent with what Casey Concepcion did, I mean, they could really come back to where they once was. So, you come out of UGA, you come out of Tennessee, you're going to be beat up. Now you got to play A&M. I mean, that's tough there. I mean, you almost could say that's a toss-up, but the Bama fan in me says we'll win. What are your guys' realistic thought on that? Because I'll write it down, whatever you guys think. My vote's a win. Are you guys a loss, or are you guys a win right there?
I don't know. I feel like that's another game that they just haven't been able to put it together year after year. And maybe we'll get some hate in the comments for this, but man, Texas A&M, when it comes to playing for something that matters, you lose them. You lose every game when it comes to playing for something that matters. And if you do that year after year after year, you can't expect anybody to take you seriously. You tried to go out and get Jimbo Fisher to turn things around. He did the exact same thing. Now you got their new head coach, Mike Elko, and he's doing the same thing. He's getting all these high hopes, 11-0. You're 11-0. You just win this one, and you're going to your first SEC championship game since you've been in the SEC, and you lose it. You lose that game. Lose your chance at going to the SEC championship again. And I just think – and maybe they're sick of that. Maybe they're so tired of it they'll do something about it this year. I don't see that being the case. I don't think they're going to. I just don't.
You're an A&M fan that he don't like you, son. Remember?
Well, that's why I'm so hard on them right now. So I think y'all beat Texas A&M. I do.
This is what I think, Adam. Look. I think now you guys go to Tennessee. You come to us. You lose. You go. No. Listen. Realistically, you lose. Then you come back home. Everybody's mad because they lost to Tennessee, and then you guys just throttle A&M when you play them. So that's a win.
I could see that being the case as well.
Yeah, you hope so. I mean, you hope.
I
don't hope they lose Tennessee, but I hope they go in there and draw.
Imagine this. Imagine this scenario. You lose to Georgia and Tennessee. There's no chance y'all lose to Texas A&M too. There's no chance.
No. I ain't laughing, man. I ain't laughing.
I mean,
funny.
Yeah, he wouldn't. I mean, there's no chance y'all would lose to Texas A&M if y'all lost both those games.
Yeah, man, golly.
I know.
Yeah, you talking about a hot seat, buddy. You talking about a hot seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you talking about a hot seat. So we all think A&M is probably a W. Now, we have a bye week, and we're going to finish up the remainder of this schedule real fast. But I'm telling you, that next game right there on the schedule, we've kind of already talked about with LSU. There is nobody, I don't think, on the planet that wants to beat Alabama more than Lane Kiffin does.
I agree with that.
I would tell you that right now. I think he would sell everything but his soul to get that win right there.
Maybe even that. I mean, we don't know. We don't know to the depths that Lane Kiffin would go, but maybe even that to beat Alabama.
He's first at Ole Miss to try to go get it.
You don't want to know what he's going to sell. I'm telling you.
Yeah. His first year at LSU, they'd be building a statue out back if he does beat Alabama at LSU year one.
Well, think about it. I mean, how many of us talked about Brian Kelly for so long and gave him all kinds of stuff about my family coming to LSU, all that, you know? He went out and beat us his first year. If y'all remember, that was 2022. And we go in there, right. They got Jaden Daniels. They win in overtime. I mean, first year head coach, they done it there.
And they go on to the SEC championship.
Yep, right, because they won that game right there.
Yeah.
So, but with LSU, I mean, that's a game I'm always going to circle. That's probably, I don't know. I would say that one in Georgia is probably my biggest rivals is LSU and Georgia. I just can't stand LSU. I've just been that way for so long. I love going to see that game just because I despise them. I really, really do. And so I'm hoping we go over there and get a W, but it is at Death Valley. So I'll give you guys the tie. I'm thinking it's going to be a W. What do you guys think?
A loss.
You guys think it's a what?
I think
You think we lose? Okay,
well,
that's it, Michael.
I've already told you the way that I feel about Kalen DeBoer coming off a bye week is the reason I think it's a win. I think that guy is so good after a bye week. I really do. He beat Georgia 2 times. Both times they each had a bye week. It's Kalen DeBoer versus Kirby Smart. You both have a bye week. What do you do after it? And he beat Georgia both times. Yeah. So do I think he can beat a Lane Kiffin LSU after a bye week? I do.
Yeah. Well, okay. So that one's a W. So now we've come off, let's say, a loss at Georgia, and then we've got 3 straight wins. Now we're going, and we got I thought we played Vandy at Vanderbilt. I might check that one, but if we play, I'm pretty sure we're playing at Vanderbilt. I'm about certain. That may just be wrong on that schedule right there, but then we got Vandy either way. Now, with them, I think you talked about, Michael, they got a quarterback named Jared Curtis. Whether or not he starts or not as a freshman, I mean, he's got a lot of potential. Yeah. But do you think Vanderbilt is back where Vanderbilt was with Diego Pavia last year? Or do you think they're just going to be at –
No, I don't think so. I think that's solely the reason Jared Curtis, although he was recruited by Georgia and committed to Georgia for years. And then when it come down to signing day, he saw the writing on the wall that Gunnar Stockton's going to be QB1. Ryan Puglesny's probably going to be right behind him. And he didn't think, man, I go to Georgia, I'm going to set the bench. So I think he's going to be their QB1 at Vanderbilt, but I don't think they're going to just do what they've done the last couple seasons.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure, like I said, I'm pretty sure that's an away game. And last time we went up there, I mean, probably the biggest, I don't know, I won't say the biggest loss in Bama history, but one of the most unexpected, where we're coming off a win at Georgia, and then we go to Vanderbilt, and people say that they want to, but at the time, Vanderbilt was not thought about very well. And it was probably 90% Bama fans there, if not 80%. And we still went in there, and with turnover after turnover, couldn't move the ball. They were getting, give them the flowers. They come in and they won that game. So I'm hoping Bama has a different type of mentality going in there. And that's the biggest thing I really want to see this year. If I could say one thing I want to see, it's not flashing lights. It's not. I want one word: consistency.
Yeah.
One word. That's it. Just be consistent.
You're right on that, man. You're right on that. It is at Vanderbilt.
Well, I mean, Vanderbilt, I feel like it was a one-time show anyways. I feel deep down, just, they're great, last year, but, this coming up year.
Here comes the Vandy fans again, right at the 29-minute mark. They're going to pin this. Oh, the Tennessee fan thinks we're a one-time show, huh?
We beat them by 28.
Yeah. He said they think we're a one-time show. We'll show them one time. So
yeah, one time. That's right, buddy. Well, so like I said, do y'all think that's a W there against Vanderbilt?
I do, yeah.
Yes. Okay, yeah. So W there. So then we're looking at the hometown crowd, the Chattanooga Mocs, coming into Bryant-Denny Stadium. Now, I was there a couple years ago. I think they came up to Bryant-Denny, I think in 2017. I want to say 2017 and 16, and they're winning.
And we're winning a little bit.
Yeah, and like the first quarter, and then Saban went We went to halftime. It might have been 10-3 Bama at the half, and boy, he was hot. Again, on that word of like, you can't overlook anybody.
Yeah.
Like Tennessee, like that is, and you may say what you want to, for Chattanooga Mocs, that is their absolute Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Would be to come in there and not beat maybe, but be competitive with Bama. And it's like they're going to give you their best. So if you're overlooking them, man, watch out. Here come the Mocs. I mean, you know what I mean? So you got to bring that A game every day, every week.
Well, us in the tri-state area, but we're North Georgia, but we're basically in Chattanooga, and I've always been a Chattanooga Mocs diehard fan. No, no, I have not. But yeah, y'all
seen a game.
Y'all are gonna dog walk them.
I hope so. You ever went to a game?
I'm not. No. I mean, it's like probably 20 minutes from me, and I'm like, I'm a diehard Mocs fan.
Yeah, never even been to the stadium.
You better hope that you guys beat Chattanooga, because all that bull junk you gave me about Georgia State coming in there.
We're going to talk about here in just a minute. We're going to talk about just a minute. Don't you sit tight there, little buddy.
I'm praying that the Mocs show up and show out against you guys.
That's right, buddy. So we'd all say that's a W. Now you come to the big game, the Iron Bowl. What is Alex Golesh going to do? Now, we're going to talk about Auburn a little bit more in a little while, but they play all of our teams. So, I mean, do you guys think that in year one, can Alex Golesh come in there and do something in Bryant-Denny? I mean, he's going to be something to prove. He's done it against Bama in 23. We played him at USF. 24, playing at Bryant-Denny. Both games very competitive. Say what you want to about South Florida. Both games very competitive. He had them believing. Now he goes to Auburn. Can he turn Auburn into that believing giant that they can be? Well,
you've seen what he can do at USF. We've seen what he can do at Tennessee. Watch out, because I believe that game right there could be an L for you guys. It could be a loss. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Sorry about that, buddy.
Well, I do feel like that's another one of those guys that's going to have a chip on his shoulder and think, man, I'm in the big boy leagues now. I'm the head coach for Auburn. So, man, regardless of how his season has went to that point, everybody knows the Iron Bowl is going to be the Iron Bowl. It doesn't matter if you or I were the head coach, man. That game is just huge for all those players, and it being at it's in Tuscaloosa. It was at Auburn last year, but I think that it's going to be a competitive game. I think y'all win the game, but I think it will be competitive.
Okay. So you think we win? So right now, I mean, whether we split the Bama-Georgia game, that puts us at 11-1. So you guys are definitely hitting the over on Bama's over-under win total for the year.
Yeah.
Which I love and appreciate. Thank you. You were true Bama fans at heart. And we know it. Even though both of you said that y'all are both going to beat our team. So it looks like we're going to have that coming up in the real season. So, but it's good. I mean, Bama going 11-1, realistically, probably going to lose some point in there. Just looking at it from a true football fan, is they're probably going to be more of a 10-2 is what I would put them at. But 11-1, man, that would be great. And Kalen DeBoer's third year. You're going into your third year. Hey, it's make or break time now. We just want to see one thing that's called consistency. Can you be consistent that week after week? Like I said, you got to bring the lunch, and you got to be ready every week. Faceless opponents. You're just going to play Bama football. So I'm hoping that they can be 10-2 or 11-1. So at least we hit the over on that. I was kind of worried that y'all may have us going under.
Yeah.
I was hoping not. So, but that's good. That's good. So 11-1 will put us Bama on our sheet here. But if y'all want to, man, we can pivot on over to the Volunteers of Tennessee. Looking at their schedule, looking at 2026, we talked about, and Chunks brought it up past couple of weeks about them going to be bringing in a new quarterback, no matter who it is. They're going to be new. Joey Aguilar is gone. You still got Josh Heupel there. You're bringing in Jim Knowles. You're bringing in new strength and conditioning coach Derek Owens. Maybe change the mentality of that team. But you can look at this schedule right here. Now, FanDuel has them going at 7-5, and we'll start it out with Chunk. But Chunk, what do you kind of see in the first couple games there that you got Georgia Tech in game 2, and of course Texas coming into your house on September 26th, man. What do you think about that game, those couple games, those first 4 there? What's your thoughts?
Man, in my heart, Adam, I want to say over on this, but I feel like if by, week 3 or 4, maybe 4 or 5, by Texas, if we don't see any improvement there, like establishment at our quarterback, man, the rest of the season could get ugly for us. It could be ugly. But, yeah, anyways, 7.5 there. I feel like, that's being, gracious, on our behalf.
You really think so? You really think they can't go higher?
Yeah. I want to say no, buddy. I think 7.5 is about right for us. But yeah. Anyways, just I think that the first week there, playing Furman. If what I would do is I would let all of my quarterbacks, George McIntyre, Ryan Staub, and Faison Brandon, I would say, look, each one of y'all are playing a quarter, and I want to see what you can do in a quarter of the game. Because, you're going into Georgia Tech, buddy. Georgia Tech the next week with these young guns, these young, players, man. What can they do? We don't know. We've got to see what they can do that first game. Now, if we happen to pull it out, the win of Georgia Tech, then I'd be a little bit more comfortable. Like, hey, we're starting to establish things now. We're starting to come together. But if we don't, dude, by the time we get to Texas, it's going to be a train wreck the rest of the season. I hate to say that, but I'm just speaking with my heart. And, I want to say, yeah, we're going to go, 9-3, 9-4. I just don't see that happening this year, buddy.
Well, to think about it too, just talking about the first couple of games there, with what you're talking about doing at quarterback, do you really think they have the luxury of being able to do that with Georgia Tech on the schedule? Or do you think that you need whoever is going to be that quarterback to get that game time experience? You need them in there 2 quarters, 3 quarters, that way they can be ready for Georgia Tech, because you don't want to just mix them in and out the whole game, because if you're only playing a quarter at a time, you got to go play 4 quarters against a very good Brent Key defensive team the next week. You know what I mean? So you've got to be ready for that. So I don't know if you're going to have the luxury of sitting down and saying, hey, we're going to play you. We're going to play you. I think you got to go out there and you've got to play that quarterback at least a half, if not more, to get them ready for the Georgia Tech game.
And that's the whole thing about this Ron Stop. See, I can't, imagine why did, Josh Heupel bring Ron Staub into the equation? Because he's got more playing time. He's played more, so he could say, look, Ron, get out there. Ron, play. Because, you've got way more experience than George McIntyre, who's only played 2 games last season. So I believe you're right there, but I would like to see something, the upcoming spring practice game that's coming April 11th. That would be great if we could, get something set there with a quarterback. But
you kind of hope that that's right. We kind of hope they're almost talking about a quarterback competition, but you really hope internally that there's really no competition. That everybody's going to say, we don't know who the starter's going to be, but Heupel knows. You hope that's the case.
Yeah.
I've got to say, Josh Heupel, being a former Heisman Trophy quarterback, I don't see him not having a for sure QB1 by Furman. And then see how he does. When for your sake, you would hope he performs really well, and then goes into that Georgia Tech game with, "Hey, this is for sure my QB1," and we think he's going to get the job done. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the way that you ought to be looking at it, because I'd see him going at least 8-4.
That's what I think too. We'll break it down, but I see more of an 8-4 than I do a 7-5.
Yeah.
So we can go through it if you guys want to. So let's say we got Furman first. Unless it's Georgia Tech or Georgia State situation, they're coming there and getting that money. Unless that happens again, which I don't see. I don't see that happening to Josh Heupel team. We're gonna say that first one is a W. But now looking at Georgia Tech, you got to go to Atlanta. Now, I don't know if that's the toughest place to play? I mean, Michael, you've been there a couple of times. I mean,
Yes.
what are your thoughts about going at Georgia Tech?
Well, when my brother and I went a few years back, we went to that Georgia Tech game to end the season. And then we had the SEC championship game we were looking forward to the next weekend. So I don't think Georgia Tech's a tough place to play at all. I think it was a lot of Georgia fans, actually, I really do. So for me, I think Brent is trying to get things going in the right direction down there, but he's also doing it at the same time that Josh Heupel is. So to me, it's like who's done a better job at what they're supposed to do? Is it Josh Heupel or is it Brent Keys? And I do think Tennessee will get that done. And I'm not going to pick Georgia Tech anyways, even though I don't like. I mean, I'm not saying I'm a Tennessee fan by any means either, but I'm definitely not no Georgia Tech fan. I hope you go in there and beat them anyway.
You had us convinced, everybody.
You know what? I'll give them the benefit of a doubt. I'll say, okay, we play Furman, we beat them, a pretty good amount. Then I would feel more comfortable going to Georgia Tech. So I will say a win there, depending on what game one looks like. So I'll say a
depending
win
on the quarterback. Okay,
yeah, exactly.
I would say a win too. Now, I mean, but now we think about it. Clemson went there last year. They went to Georgia Tech, 12 o'clock kickoff, and went there and lost. So, I mean, the good teams that come in there and left with L's, over the years. But you hope that Tennessee, as an SEC fan, would go in there and take care of business against the ACC. Right. So, then you got I think that's Kennesaw State, another little close to home team there that comes up to Knoxville next week. We're all thinking there's a W there. Are we circling that game?
They'll win that game.
Yeah. Okay, then you got the Battle of the Orange, son.
Well, that's the one I'm most excited about. That's the one that I'm personally most excited about as a Georgia fan because you guys are playing for who the real UT is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not a Tennessee fan, but I'm less of a Texas fan. I don't like Texas. I just don't. Yeah. So I hope that you guys get that done at home. But I don't know if y'all do. That's the one I have a question mark beside for me.
Yeah.
And I'll let you guys have the deciding vote on if we're going to put a W or an L beside that. But for me, man, that's a huge question mark. That's a huge question mark on what Texas is able to do with all that oil money. I mean, God forbid they should be able to do something.
Yeah.
And then you got Tennessee, who's trying to do something too. Again, it's like, who has done a better job, Josh Heupel or Steve Sarkisian? So I'll let you guys have the deciding vote on it.
Look here, Michael. So we're battling for the real UT and the real shade of orange. So, but look, I want to say this. If we beat Texas, that's with a big if. If we beat Texas, then I believe the rest of our schedule will be, pretty good. But I got to put a question mark on that because I don't know yet. But I think we'll probably lose to that game, man. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
Because just knowing Steve Sarkisian, Texas, man, and Arch, man,
Well, you got one or two ways, okay? Last year, Ohio State, when Texas played them, if you remember, they went up to Ohio State and they lost that game. Well, you got to think about it. Texas has to play Ohio State again. Whoever wins that game is probably going to be the number one team in the country. But a good thing for Tennessee, they play, I think, week 1 or 2.
Oh, wow.
It's either week 1 or 2. So they play again, but they're playing in Austin this time. Yeah. So, but here's the question mark. Are they playing? They may. I think they play Ohio State. I'm pretty sure. they play Ohio State.
That's a big game.
It could be Michigan, but I'm pretty sure it's Ohio State.
I'll look that up.
Okay, but I'm thinking right here, though, this is what I'm trying to say is that last year Texas lost that game. And if you remember, a couple weeks later, they went to Florida and lost that game. So could that be kind of the same scenario they'll be in this upcoming year? Even if they win at Ohio State, that big first road game they played against Florida, could that be favoring in Tennessee's favor? Because like we've talked about, Neyland is a hard place to play. It don't matter who you are.
Ohio State is week 2 for them.
Week 2, okay. Wow. So it could be that same scenario of if they lose that game against Ohio State. We're not sure on that. I'm not picking that game tonight, but if they was to lose to Ohio State, do they come to Neyland like they came to Florida last year, or do they learn from what happened at Florida last year and they come in there and get the win? Now, me personally, I would say more than likely because of the talent and the way Steve has to win this year, they are in a must-win mode. This is probably a loss on my book too. Just speaking as it from tennis, Texas over all things needs it more than Tennessee does. I think Texas is going to play every game like life or death this year, because that's just way. It's not like you're on the hot seat, top of heat. It's more like a competitive heat that Sarkisian's fighting this year, every week. So he can't afford to go in and Neyland and lose that game.
And we had Steve Sarkisian in that warm category. So it's the nail on the head, man. He's got to get something done, and he's made a lot of big time changes, bringing in Will Muschamp and trying to duplicate the success that Kirby Smart has had, especially in my opinion, going to get Will Muschamp.
I'm telling you right now, man, if they come in, let's say this happens right here, and let's play this out. Devil's advocate, it's spring. Let's say they lose to Ohio State. Okay. 2 weeks later, they come in and Neyland and lose. That could be a James Franklin scenario right there.
Yeah, I agree.
At the next week, Sark is out because you got Cam Coleman, you got Hollywood Smothers, you've got Arch Manning, you've got that defense returning. I mean,
because their schedule has Texas State, Ohio State, UTSA, and then Tennessee. So, man, you're right on the money there. If they lose to both their big-time opponents right out the gate and they're 2-2, Steve Sarkisian might be on the unemployment list.
Yeah, they could be. I mean, they're spending the money. They want it this year. This is a year we got to have it here. So
they got Will Muschamp, man, and when he was at Florida, man, it's just hard to beat Will Muschamp.
Yeah.
So that's why I say, it's a loss.
Well, Will Muschamp was on Georgia's sidelines when we went to that Georgia versus Texas game at the SEC championship a few years back. Will Muschamp was on our sideline. And I guess Steve Sarkisian really liked what he saw and was like, I think we need this guy. And I think that was a big part of the reason he went out to get him.
Yeah, they're just. I think, like I said, this is a make or break year for Texas. If they don't win the whole thing, it's considered a bust. It's that big for Texas this year. If they don't literally win the national championship this season, it'll be a disappointment. So, like I say, we're thinking it's 3-0 for Tennessee, and then we're thinking week 4 is going to be an L. Is that what you guys thinking?
Yeah.
Probably,
yeah.
So let's just say they lose to Texas right there. We were talking it up, but we still think they may lose that one to Texas. Now, hey, we come into the real season. Hey, that one's going to be a good one to talk about right there. Yeah. So now let's see. It looks like Auburn's coming to your house. This is another team that we all have in common. We're all playing Auburn. Poor Auburn. They got to play Tennessee, Georgia, and Bama. So what do you guys think right here? Do you think that Alex Golesh comes up to Neyland playing his former team and can get a W?
Yeah, I think, Alex Golesh, man, he knows everything about Tennessee. Just coaching with Josh Heupel, man, I'm going to say that's a loss right there for us. I believe that, I got to say that's a loss.
You're going to have Tennessee fans jumping all over you.
Hey, I'm a realist, man. I'm a realist.
Well, that's good, but I don't know. Again, my perspective on that, you got a year one guy, and I'm going to kind of go in your favor here, Chunk. You got a year one guy with Alex Golesh going into Auburn. The expectations at Auburn have to be very low. But guess what the expectations are at Tennessee? Hey, you have to do something, Josh Heupel. So to me, I think that's what the deciding factor of that game is. I think y'all could get that done there. I think y'all could, especially if Texas rolls into Neyland, rolls up into Knoxville and beats you. Mm-hmm. And then you lose the very next week to Auburn. I don't see it.
No, I don't either. And I think that's a W myself. I'm going to put that down as a W. If you think it's one and I think it's one, even though the Tennessee fan says hell, I think that's a win. I think that's a win right there. I think Tennessee has too much. Even if they do lose or if they do win, I think Heupel's got it figured out, and I think they're going to beat Auburn, especially him being a first-year coach at Auburn. That's only week 5. They got a lot of talent, but I don't think by that point we're going to know really who Auburn is. So I think that's going to be a W right there. So then you got old Pig Suey here with old Arkansas. A couple years ago, Tennessee went out there and they lost Arkansas.
Yeah.
If you remember. So, I mean, it's not like it's the easiest game, but compared to what Arkansas has been, they got a first-year coach coming in.
Right.
What do you guys think about this game? Do you guys think it's an easy win, or do you think it's a struggle win?
I think it's going to be it's not going to be an easy win. It'll be a struggle win for sure. But with that new coach coming in, I feel like they don't have everything developed. So that's going to be a great win for us over the road. And that's what's going to lead us in coming back home. I don't want to jump ahead, but that's going to pump us up coming back home for that Alabama game. So I'm going to say that's a win for Tennessee against Arkansas.
Yeah. I think they get it done there too.
Yep. Well, let me say this. Now we're going to the Bama game. Let's just say Arkansas is a W, but and not really going back to it. But when you have Bama coming in, and you've got Arkansas right there, could that be a trap game for Tennessee?
That definitely.
We're looking ahead to Alabama. They're coming to town.
Yeah.
Is that going to be a trap game for them?
I mean,
that's the
a
only
good
thing you
question.
hope not. But
Well,
it's there.
Yeah.
It's
definitely
always that
could
way.
be. It definitely could be a trap game looking ahead. I just don't know if that's going to be that could be a scary. That could be a scary situation for any team. Every team does that.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we're going to nine conference games. I mean, you look at it, and I mean, if I'm not mistaken about this, I mean, Tennessee plays all their out of conference in the first 3 games. The rest of it's all SEC.
Yeah, you're right.
If I'm looking at that right.
Yep.
I mean, it's all SEC after that. So I mean, Tennessee. I mean, they're going to have a road ahead of them.
Yeah.
Going into this year. But let's just look at the Alabama game. So I'm thinking it's an L on my part. I think Bama comes in there after the 2 times of trying to beat Tennessee in 22 and 24. Tennessee's beating us. That's kind of what Chunk's going after. But I'm thinking we come in and handle business this time. I think K on the board just has too much he needs to prove, especially coming off Georgia. Whether that's a win or a loss with Georgia, I think you got to come into Neyland and be ready, and they're going to be ready to play that game. And I think they get out of there with a W, and Tennessee takes an L for that game. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think
that's a win. Just like I said earlier. I mean, I know you think it's a loss, but I think that's the turning point for Tennessee for me. I think with that over the road win for Arkansas, now we're established at quarterback right now. So that's what's going to make the rest of the schedule, I think going to be better for us. But I got to say a win right there, buddy.
Okay. What do you think, Mike? You got the side and vote.
I don't know, man. I think that one's going to be a tough one to pick. Like I say, especially this far out. But I don't know. I was on your side, Chunk, earlier with Auburn. That was a little bit easier to be on your side, but I don't know if I'm going to be for this one. That might be your second loss so far in our predictions here.
Yeah, that's the second loss I see.
Which keeps you on par, man, for 7-5. That's good.
Well, we look here, so there's no bye week up to this point. And now the week before your bye week, so you're beaten up, you're tired, you're not well rested, and now you're going to South Carolina.
Yeah, where you got to deal with that. Where you got to deal with that stupid music and the towel.
And last time they ran out of fireworks on them, son.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Remember
that's
that?
bulletin board material right there. Don't let them run out of fireworks this time.
Well, hey, look, guys, this game right here.
You got to say it's crazy.
Look. This game right here is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back, and I believe we get the win over them. And Shane Beamer is out of there at this point. He's gone.
Yeah,
I think Tennessee gets the win there too. That's a hard place to play. Bama was just there last year. That's one of Michael's biggest rivals. He knows South Carolina's a tough place to play.
Oh yeah.
But I do think Tennessee goes there and gets a W right there.
Yeah, the last time that Georgia lost at home prior to this past year, Georgia had a really, really good win streak going at home, was to South Carolina. So, man, and that's at Georgia. So that team can be the boogeyman when it wants to be and show up and just ruin somebody's season. They never seem to do very good for their own season, but they can ruin other people's season for sure.
That's the thing. But they always seem to get up when they need to. Like they'll play really bad against like just a nobody, but they're like, I don't want to say nobody, but like a Missouri, they'll look horrible. They get blown up by 28. The next week you play Bama or Tennessee, man, you're competitive at least.
Yeah.
It's just like their biggest fight is against consistency as well.
Yeah.
So, but were we all thinking that's a W right there?
That's a W.
Against South Carolina? Okay, so then you got your bye week. Now you come in and you're facing University of Kentucky at home. That's probably Tennessee's biggest rival. Last year you took care of business, but that's with Mark Stoops. Now you got Will Stein coming from Oregon with Kentucky coming to your guys' house. What do you think about that one right there, Chunk?
I'm going to have to say that's going to be a win, buddy. I mean, they've got a new coach. I think they got a quarterback coming in there. But, Tennessee is just Tennessee. We always beat Kentucky. We hardly ever I better not eat my words, but we hardly ever lose to Kentucky. But I said that about Vandy last year too. We got blitzed. 28. We got blitzed by them. So I'm just going to go with my heart with this one here. I'm going to say that's a win. Just because of the win at South Carolina and the same situation with the whole Alabama thing coming back from Arkansas, I feel like that's going to, keep us all hopped up, and we just pull out that win against Kentucky there.
Yeah, and you're going to be rested up. I mean, you're going to have a bye week before that game.
True, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and you're really going to need that rest because good night, man. After that Kentucky game, it doesn't look good, my friend.
No, back to back, son.
And this might be when we get into where we see the 8-4 coming from.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking too. So if we mark down that Kentucky's a W, you've got Texas A&M, which, like we said last year, was very good.
Texas A&M, which is a big deal.
Yeah, you got going two there. You remember that game? I want to say that was 2016, man. That was a classic there. You remember that? Tennessee lost that game, but man, that was a good ball game.
Well, I think, I hate to say it, man, but we're going to succumb to those cowbells, buddy. I think they're going to give into the pressure.
Cowbells.
No, that's Mississippi State. My bad. But no. Texas A&M, man.
12th man.
Yeah, the 12th man. Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, they don't do the cowbells, but they call themselves the home of the 12th man. And when they play Texas or a big-time opponent, they need that 12th man on the field. Right. And
he never comes.
That's what I mean. That's a loss. That's a loss for us, guys.
Yeah,
I got that as a loss.
Okay, so now we get to this one. Lane Kiffin in one season has to go to both his old teams, and man, the amount of golf balls and mustard that's going to be thrown at him is just mind-boggling. I mean, I know the state of Tennessee. You guys are a big Food City state. So I guess Food City is going to be sold out of mustard. I mean, y'all are going to bring every bottle of mustard that's in that store for that next game, November 21st.
Yes, sir.
They'll be throwing golf balls, mustard, and other things we won't describe on the podcast.
Okay, so let's get to that. What do you think? How do you think that unfolds, Chunk? Year one for Lane Kiffin at LSU, rolling into Knoxville.
I believe we're going to play our hardest this game just to prove a point against Lane Kiffin. But knowing him, buddy, that's a loss for us. I mean, I hate to say it. At this point, we're already established at quarterback as a team. We're playing our heart outs, but we're wore out because of the schedule we had to play. It's been a gauntlet for us. And then I believe Lane Kiffin comes in there and just, puts it on us, man. We lose. We got a loss on that game.
At 7 consecutive SEC games up to that point.
Yeah.
That'd be the eighth one. I mean, I don't care what you say, man. That's like an NFL. That's like an NFL schedule. That's just beat up after beat up, and you're not playing slack teams, really. I mean, you're playing Bama, you're playing Auburn, you're playing Texas, you're playing South Carolina. I mean, now you're playing A&M.
Now, where is Florida? Well, yeah, Florida is one of those guys or those teams that y'all don't have on the schedule now.
Right.
No. I think their regular 3 is going to be Vanderbilt, Kentucky, and Bama.
Man, I just can't believe I can't believe that y'all dropped Georgia and Florida. I think that's crazy. Because for us living in this area, especially living in this area, that's the biggest rival to Georgia that we've had for years. And I'm really going to miss having that game on the schedule every year to look forward to.
I mean, that in Florida too, buddy. I mean, that was it was a fun game to watch, man. It's a big rivalry, Florida and you guys. So it kind of sucks.
And since we both hate Florida, we can get on this subject. I'm really glad that the last time you guys played Florida, y'all went to Gainesville and beat them, which y'all haven't done in a very long time. Mm-hmm. That's a good thing.
Right.
Yeah, give him his cookie and milk. That's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Good boy.
As we're dissecting the schedule and only giving you 8 wins, man, I figured I'd throw that in there.
Yeah, he's a good boy. So what do you think right there? Are y'all saying LSU is a loss?
Yeah.
Everybody?
We lost, yeah.
That's another one I have a question mark beside, but I'll let you guys decide because I'm not a huge Lane Kiffin fan, so I wouldn't mind to see Tennessee just give it to them right there and make the entire LSU fan base go, oh man, did we make a mistake here? Can we send Lane Kiffin packing and now just go for whoever? But I don't know. Maybe that's a big.
My heart says the same thing. Like I want to give them that W out there, and that would put them at I mean, if they beat Vanderbilt, it'd be 9-3.
Yeah.
So that puts them at 9 wins right there. Or sorry, 8 wins. 8 wins right there.
Yeah.
Is that what you want to do? You want to say it's a W?
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's a loss.
He's saying loss.
Vanderbilt's a win for us, but LSU's a loss.
Well, I'll let you say it then. I was going to put an L. Or a W, I'm sorry. I will put an L because the Tennessee fan told me to. But so Vanderbilt, like we talked about before, Clark Lee coming in there, Jared Curtis possibly being the starter. We don't know that for sure. By this point, it don't matter if you're a freshman or not. If you've come through all these games and you're still starting, you ain't a freshman no more.
Right.
Week 4 or 5, it's a freshman. You come through a gauntlet of SEC schedule and you're a freshman and you're the last game of the regular season, you ain't a freshman no more. So Vanderbilt coming to town. Let's say they are starting Jared Curtis at quarterback. You guys are going to Vanderbilt. I apologize for that. You're going to Vanderbilt. So you're going to Nashville with Jared Curtis as the quarterback, possibly Clark Lee's team. They did beat you guys last year. Are you thinking that it's going to be a vengeance game, Chunk, or what you think?
It is. It definitely is. It's going to be, hey, you humiliated us last year at home. Now we've got something to prove. We're coming with the vengeance, and I believe we're going to pull that win out there at Vanderbilt because of that reason.
There you go. You pull that V right out of that star. Yep. So that's our vengeance. So what do you think, Mike? That's a W out there, buddy?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I would hope so for my buddy Chunk's sake that they don't lose to Vanderbilt 2 years in a row.
Right. Yeah, wouldn't that be something? Have you ever lost to Vanderbilt twice in a row? I mean, it's been a long time, ain't it? If ever.
No. Yeah. No. I don't believe so. I would hope not.
No.
Since you've been watching football, you don't think you've lost them consecutively?
I don't think so.
Not that I can remember either. I don't know if I've ever seen it.
Not that I can remember. I always put a W on my calendar for that. So.
Oh, geez, disrespect. No, but so then all right. So now looking over it, we've got them going 8-4. It looks like with a loss against Texas, a loss against Alabama, a loss against LSU and A&M. So that's what we got. Tennessee going 8-4. So I mean, I think that's realistic. I think that is realistic for Tennessee. Now they could come in and win one of those games. We said it's going to be a loss and easily be 9-3. And if you do that with this amount of schedule, I mean, you're probably a playoff team being 9-3. To me, at that point, 8-4, you're probably still on the bubble. But if you get a big win against LSU or A&M, especially at the end of the season, because God forbid, we know that it's not a what you've done, it's what you done for me lately with this committee. Yeah. If you lose to Texas at the beginning, I mean, you go in and you beat A&M or LSU, and you get that, look what you've done for me lately. I think that really gives Tennessee a bump to get into that playoff scenario. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
You guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So y'all want to go over and do the other tri-state team tonight? Do Georgia's schedule?
Yeah.
Y'all good with that? All right, man. Let's go see what the Dogs got for us now. Michael, I don't know if I can really see Georgia doing anything special. Can you, buddy?
Well, I don't know, man. We got two juggernauts to start the season. Two juggernauts. And originally we had scheduled Louisville. Louisville was that week 1 game, and then we got wind that, hey, this is going to be a 9-game conference schedule. So I guess Kirby Smart thought then, man, we're just drop Louisville off the schedule. And then I seen a lot of Louisville fans out there saying, oh, Kirby Smart dropped us. Well, listen, you better be glad. Y'all would have been 0-1 to start the season, all right? But, really, I feel like if he had kept Louisville on the schedule, that would have been a more exciting game at least to start the season. But I don't think we would have lost to them. I really don't.
I don't know, man. Louisville, son.
I'm going to go.
They're fighting birds, man. They'd had it.
I'm going to go the opposite from kind of what we've done already and go best case scenario and worst case scenario. Guys, the standard at Georgia, as you see right here on my hand, Kirby Smart sent me this himself. This isn't no cheap knockoff off of eBay. Yeah. Kirby Smart sent me this. No, I'm just kidding. It isn't.
You guys wouldn't believe it. He wears that to bed. Don't let him fool you.
I took my wedding band off. I put it on that hand.
Yeah, you ought to.
No, it is exactly a cheap knockoff off of eBay. It might be turning my finger green right now. But the standard at Georgia, really, and you could say this every year. Every year you could say Georgia could go 12-0 and be completely undefeated. So best case scenario for Georgia is 12-0. Worst case scenario for Georgia, in my opinion, is 10-2. I know they have us at 9.5 wins, but I honestly think worst case scenario for Georgia this season, with the veterans coming back, with Kirby Smart getting every piece of the puzzle put together, is 10-2. If we go 10-2, I'd say that's a worst case scenario for us. I really do. I think 12-0 is the standard and what you want to do every single year. Georgia really beat everybody on their schedule. Every single team they played last year, they beat. They finished the season 11-1, and then they redeemed themselves to that Alabama loss in the regular season. They beat them in the SEC. And then they turned around and they lost in the Sugar Bowl to a team they had already earlier beat. So they beat every team they played last year. They didn't beat the one that they lost to when they really needed to in the Sugar Bowl. But that's the reason that I feel like with this season, it is kind of a make or break point for Georgia too. Not one Georgia fan, including myself, liked losing in the Sugar Bowl 2 years in a row. Not one person I've ever talked to said, oh yeah, that's fine. At least we made it to the Sugar Bowl. That's not the standard at Georgia anymore. So
used to, yeah.
Yeah, used to. It'd be great, man. Great. Georgia made it to the Sugar Bowl 2 years in a row. Who cares that they lost?
Yeah.
But they've lost.
Title twice.
Yeah, they're back-to-back. They're back-to-back SEC champions. But the standard that Georgia has now, that doesn't really matter to us. So we can get into it. We can get into it right here at Tennessee State. But for me, man, obviously we'll beat Tennessee State because they're the little sisters to Tennessee, and we beat Tennessee most of the time. So I figure we could handle Tennessee State.
You know what?
But,
I gotta agree with you though, man. I believe Georgia's got a high standard now. And that loss to Ole Miss, it really sucked for you guys. But I believe you guys are going to be like, 10-2? I think you're going to win more than that right there, what they're showing. So, but it's definitely a win, Tennessee State. So
if we start
because
there,
what he was talking about with the back-to-back SEC titles, and Chunks started talking. I'm like, man, you don't know what that man would do for one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just give me one SEC title.
Well, it has been a long time for Tennessee, man, and I know, and I feel ungrateful sometimes because Georgia, all throughout high school for us, Georgia was nowhere near what they are today. and I had to deal with that back then. But I mean, it was right after high school that Mark Richt got fired, and I didn't know how I felt about it at the time. I thought, man, I really like Mark Richt as a person. He is phenomenal. He is a great person. But as a head coach, he didn't get the job done at the highest level. And Georgia was sick of that. So they went and got a guy that used to play for Georgia and to coach at his alma mater. So it's worked out pretty good for us. But yeah, the standard at Georgia now is not to lose back-to-back Sugar Bowls. It is to win back-to-back SEC championships, and I'm happy that they did that. But yeah, I just feel like that they want to do something special this year. So it's either 12-0, or to me, it could be 11-1. As I'm looking at this schedule right now, and we can go through it now. Starting, we'll go on to Western Kentucky because I'm pretty sure that all of us agree that Tennessee State's a win.
Yeah, Western Kentucky's. I mean, that's a win.
That's
so
you
really start at Arkansas. You know, a couple years ago, if you remember, in that almost where they it was the 2020 year, if I'm not mistaken, and then y'all had a quarterback. I can't remember his name.
He
started that game. DeJuan Mathis. He started that game. Then the Stetson Bennett.
Yep.
Come in that game, and that's where the story of Stetson Bennett as a Georgia starter began.
We awoken the giant in Stetson Bennett, and that's whose ring I got on right now, if you can see. Stetson Bennett.
He sleeps in it. Don't let him lie to nobody. That's where it starts, though, is at Arkansas, you know, with the SEC competition. So you feel, I mean, I think you feel fine, but I think right there, Georgia goes in and really sets the tone for this SEC gauntlet they got.
Yeah.
And it really goes in there and shows who Georgia is for the 2026 season.
Yeah, no doubt. First 2 games, practice game for Georgia. And then, you know, Arkansas is, you know, a little bit, you know, more aggressive game there, but there's no brainer, man. They come out there, you know, with a win.
I think they beat Texas, they beat Arkansas, but the one that I'm really just kind of concerned about looking forward is Oklahoma at Georgia. That may be, I don't know this, I'd have to look it up, but that may be the first time Oklahoma's ever even come to Georgia and played. So that's going to be a big time game. That's going to be a big time game, big time atmosphere in Athens, Georgia. So again, I just do not see Georgia losing that game. I just can't see them.
Well, it's going to be a big telltale sign with Mateer. If he comes back and plays like he did at the end of the season, I don't know if Oklahoma can do it. Last year, their run game really can't get no worse than what it was. So Oklahoma, if they don't fix the problems that they had at the end of the season and can't look like the team they looked like before Mateer's injury, then Georgia could dog walk them. But if they change around those few things and can run the ball, Mateer's back to his old ways, that game could be very competitive.
Yeah,
very competitive.
Yeah, it could.
That really could be a question mark here.
That's going to be a question mark. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was about to say. It could be a win, questionable.
Yeah,
win.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I think deep down they do it just because I'm telling you, dude. I think Georgia is about to go in. I mean, I hate to say it, I think Georgia's about to have a year, and that's saying something when they've won back-to-back SEC titles, have been either number 2 seed both years going in the playoffs. But I think this year, man, Georgia is really going to do some damage, and it really starts with setting the tone at Arkansas and then coming home into your house and setting the tone of physicality, setting the tone of we're Georgia, it's a veteran team, and we're coming here to dominate every team we play.
Yeah, and the amount of just absolute hype that's going to be around that game for the players, not only the fans. Obviously, the fans are going to be fired up, but for the players, knowing that this is big time Oklahoma, that's probably going to be at least a top 15 team.
Yeah, at least
coming into Georgia, and you got to set the tone there. Like, I think the on the road game against Arkansas is a win, and I do think they're going to set the tone there with Oklahoma.
Yeah. What do you think about trying? That's a W right there, buddy.
The
Oklahoma game.
Well, I think it's a question. Questionable. I believe that Oklahoma could possibly get the job done, but I'm just going to say a win for now. Win, question mark. Could
Okay.
it be
Yeah,
a
and
loss?
like we've said to kind of start this thing, we're talking early spring. I mean, we'll see how the season actually unfolds, but I'm as a Georgia fan, I definitely want to put a W beside that right now because I just think that's basically your season opener. Every diehard Georgia fan is going to want to be at that game.
Yeah, well, that's a really good way to look at it, buddy. That really is where you really can kick off this season because up to this point, I mean, Arkansas is an SEC team, but they got a new coach. A lot of people left. That Green that was really good at quarterback last year, he's gone. So really, it's kind of like, this is really going where you know what Georgia's going to be this year.
Yeah,
Right here, this is going to be that game. So I've got it as a W. What do you guys think? Y'all thinking W too?
yeah, I do too.
Okay, so then you got Vanderbilt's coming in town the next week. Now, this is the game where I was going to say Arkansas, but this is where you really can say it, is Vanderbilt's coming in town off of Oklahoma. Okay, so think about this scenario really for a second. You got a big game in Oklahoma. Everybody's going to be hyped up for that game. You got Vanderbilt that's coming in town. If they're where they have been the past couple of years, that's going to be a very competitive game, if not a very, very tough game.
Yeah.
And you've got Bama is on the horizon. So that's a game right in between two massive games that if Vanderbilt is anything like they've been the past couple of years, that could be a huge question mark game for what the mentality of a Kirby Smart team could be.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you and I talked about several weeks ago when the schedule kind of came out. And I thought, man, that Vanderbilt game could really, really be that look-ahead game and that trap game that everybody talks about where Georgia could get caught in a position where they're like, hey, wait a minute, we go straight from Oklahoma into Vanderbilt. There is no bye week to look forward to before going straight to Alabama. And then they might get caught. They might get caught in that trap. So I'm concerned about them too. But as a Georgia fan, as a dog, it makes me say, I hope that they show Jared Curtis why he made a big mistake and have him looking at the stars in Athens the entire game. But it is going to be a big-time game, and I think that's going to be one that we have to circle, but I would hope that they get that done there.
Yeah. Well, so what do you think about China? Then they can?
Well, I think, coming off of that Oklahoma, if they win against Oklahoma, I think Vandy will be a dog walk. I really do. If they beat Oklahoma, I think
you just hate Vanderbilt.
I think Vandy will be a dog walk for Georgia. But if they don't beat Oklahoma, let's just say this. If Georgia loses to Oklahoma and goes up against Vandy, I believe Georgia should win, but I think it'll be a close game, because, Georgia will be wore out. Oklahoma, wore them out, but I think they'll get the win over Vandy for sure.
Okay. Well, that's another team. Just thinking about it right there, that's another team. Them and Auburn are two teams that we all have to play.
Yeah.
For them, they got to play the tri-state teams.
Yeah.
They got to play Vanderbilt, or they got to play Tennessee, Georgia, and Bama. Vanderbilt and Auburn does. So, but we'll go ahead and say that's a W. So you're starting out the season, you're 5-0. Now you're going to Tuscaloosa. Now, earlier I said that was going to be a Georgia win. I'm on the fence about it, but
that's
just
the one.
because of what they done last year, and it's hard to say. It really is hard to say. As a Bama fan, I would say in my season prediction, we got to have a loss somewhere. So who better to lose to than Georgia? But at the end of the day, you're going into Tuscaloosa.
That's kind of where I'm at with this. I truly think Georgia goes 11-1 this season. I would absolutely love for them to go 12-0. But if you're talking about a 9-conference game schedule, I could definitely see them going 11-1, not 12-0. And I think if they go 11-1, that's going to be the one on their schedule. Yeah. I know they're going to Ole Miss later in the season. I know that. I see that coming up. But I just feel like that Ole Miss game is just going to be almost a revenge game. Hey, you guys beat us in the Sugar Bowl when we really had everything we were looking forward to. We thought we were going to play Miami and Carson Beck and kind of, hopefully unleash the dogs on Carson Beck because he doesn't run around like Trinidad Chambliss does at all. But if we're going to go 11-1, I feel like we lose at Bama, and hopefully, I hope beat Ole Miss at Ole Miss.
Yeah. So what do you think about it, Chuck? Then they lose at Bama?
Well, like I said before, I think that's a loss for Georgia, buddy. It's just, I mean, Georgia's just used to losing to Bama. I mean, I hate to say that, Michael. I mean, they really are.
I changed my mind completely. Georgia's going to dog walk.
I think that, you know, I've got you guys going at 10-2, and that's one of the losses on my prediction there. So, and I just feel like, you know, the atmosphere down in Tuscaloosa, man, is just going. That's probably what's going to win it for them. Really, basically, it could be a close win. Yeah, it's going to be a close win, I predict, for Alabama.
Yeah. Well, so that one will be an L there, and we'll just skip on down to. We'll put it as an L for right now. So that's 5-1, and Georgia's got Auburn coming to their house. What is that? The Deep South oldest rivalry? Is that what that is?
Deep South oldest rivalry. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's
the Deep South's oldest rivalry, and I tell you right now that if we lose at Alabama, there ain't no way we're losing to two Alabama teams back to back.
Yeah, back to back.
No way that's happening.
No, I don't think so either. And Alex Go is coming in year one. Now, I mean, they'll put up a fight. I mean, I think they're going to be more based on an offensive team. Too. They've still got DJ Durkins coming back as defensive coordinator, but I really think that Auburn's just going to have – this is going to be – Auburn will be scary in a year or two. But I think this year is going to be a little bit of a different changing of season for them. So I've got them losing to Georgia in that game. But in the years to come, I think Auburn could be really a team that's you look at and you have to definitely circle when you're looking at the schedule, not just looking over like we have in the past couple of years.
Yes, sir. I believe you're absolutely right, Adam. I believe that Auburn is going to definitely put up a fight with them, but they just don't have what Georgia's got, the talent, the coaches. So that right there is a win for Georgia, no doubt. I believe so.
I think so. Now we get to talk about, so we'll all put that one down as a W, but now we get to talk about something that's kind of interesting is this year with the Florida-Georgia game, it's going to be in Atlanta.
I'm very excited about that. And I hope
it'll be in Mercedes-Benz.
I hope that we make an effort to go down there. I'm sure that I will. I hope that you guys would come with me, but I'm going to that game for sure. That's a game I've got circled. I have never seen Georgia play Florida, ever. I've never made it down to Jacksonville and seen that game. As much as I wish I would have, I've just never done it. So this year, for sure, I'm going to watch Georgia play Florida in Mercedes-Benz. And after a bye week,
is that date right? Is that on Halloween night?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's spooky. I might be an L, son.
For them, I agree. But no, you're right, and I think that's going to be a pretty fun game to talk about when we get into it. But we're coming off a bye week. We're coming off a bye week after that Auburn game, and I don't see John Summerall beating. I just don't see him beating Kirby Smart's Georgia in our backyard.
Yeah.
So I would really hope that that's a win for Georgia. Because I definitely plan on being down there at that game. We'll just have to tell the kids they can trick or treat another time.
Don't need no candy, no way.
Yeah.
The only problem is that if they don't get candy, then I don't get candy. So
that's true.
That's the only problem.
Man, I'll go buy them a bucket of candy myself, and we're all going to that game.
That's right. That's right. But no, it'd be good. I think right there, I do think Georgia wins. Again, it's kind of the same thing I said about Auburn with them having a new coach in. With John Summerall, I think Florida is going to be good. I mean, you can say it about everybody, but I really think Florida is about a year or two away from where they want to be. I think this year is going to be another year of like just growing pains, but I think John Summerall is going to get them to where Florida wants to be. I think it's going to be different than the Billy Napier era. So I'm excited to see what Florida's going to do in a couple years, but not this year. I think this year Georgia goes into Atlanta and they beat Florida. They're probably their biggest rival. Would you agree with that, Chuck?
Hey, you know what? Imagine the atmosphere it's going to be Georgia, and Florida. And you guys remember going to that Georgia and Texas game, the Texas Longhorns game?
Yeah.
Man, it was just unreal. Like you couldn't even hear yourself talk. That's how electric it was in that place. So
Mercedes-Benz.
I think Georgia's going to pull it out, buddy. At this point,
and honestly, like I say, we've been talking early spring this whole time, but depending on how Florida's season has looked up to this point, they may be coming in there with a lot of fire. I mean, let's say they do pretty well this season, and they're coming in there with a lot of fire under them thinking, man, we can go in there and beat Georgia. Then, yeah, I think it will be a crazy atmosphere. But I guess that's all. We'll see that closer to time and once we get into the season for sure. But because I don't like playing a down Florida. But even when you do play a down Florida, you can almost lose to them. We saw that this past season. We played them in Jacksonville, and that was a very competitive game.
Yeah, it was very competitive. That's the only thing that Florida's always that question mark team. But I just think they're about a year or two away, man. I really do. I think they're about a year or two away. John Summerall's got to go in there. They got to change a lot of things. You know, they got to change a lot of mentalities. They got to change a lot of things around the program. So I think they're a year or two away. But we'll just say for right now that Florida game is definitely a W. But they're looking ahead now to November 7th. You've got Georgia going to Ole Miss. You've got Kirby Smart facing Pete Golden, two former Alabama defensive coordinators. Don't forget it. And so they're going to be playing a rematch of the Sugar Bowl. This time, you know, the only question I have with this game, and this is the if Georgia wins or Georgia loses, there's one question mark I got. You ready for it? Trinidad Chambliss. Is he on the team? Is he playing quarterback? If he's not on the team, I think Georgia wins that game going away. If Trinidad Chambliss is playing that game, then that could be a ball game. If not, an Ole Miss win.
Yeah. Well, that's the biggest deciding factor for me as well because Trinidad Chambliss is a very hard quarterback to stop. And honestly, man, he is just an absolute freak. When he has the ball in his hands and you've got a corner flying at you, and you make that cornerback look like he's in grade school football and get around him and make a play like he did in the Sugar Bowl, it was embarrassing, really. And I personally feel like Georgia goes 11-1, and that's the reason. I don't care if Trinidad Chambliss is at the quarterback position or not. I don't see Georgia losing to that team again because I feel like since we have such a veteran team, and really we have the most returning starters out of the entire conference in the SEC, all those guys remember that feeling after the Sugar Bowl. I don't see them going into Ole Miss and losing regardless if who's there.
Who's the quarterback?
Yeah. I feel like they're going to scheme something up and try their best to shut down Trinidad Chambliss, which is a lot easier said than done. But if there's anybody that can do it, it's Kirby Smart.
And Glenn Schumann. Give him his flowers. Glenn Schumann.
I'll just ride with Kirby.
Ride with Kirby. That's right.
Well,
what do you think about something it's a W?
Yeah, well, no, actually I don't. Sorry, Michael. I think this is going to be a loss, buddy. For real. I mean, you think about your schedule, buddy. Look at the gauntlet you guys have been through. I mean, yeah, Georgia's a good team and all, but, man, at this point, man, you're kind of wore out. And I think Ole Miss has your guys' number from last year. So I've got it down as a question mark. Is it a win or is it a loss? It's going to be tough, but like you guys said, Trinidad Chambliss, buddy, that's what makes the team right there, man. If he's playing, I got it down as a loss. So
yeah, that's where I sit today. Now we're talking midsummer. That's why we're doing like a spring over/under win total. Come in the fall, depending on who's on the teams, depending on injuries that happen, depending on things that go on, these very well could change. But as of right now, today, with Trinidad playing, I mean, he's probably my dark horse Heisman winner. That I would say today that Ole Miss wins that game, being at Ole Miss. There's two things, Trinidad and at Ole Miss. I think those two things factor in because say what you want to, when they went down to Louisiana, that was pretty much an Ole Miss home game too. You know, usually you see Georgia going to these neutral sites and packing it out. I was watching this come my feed just like this week was when Georgia's walking out at the Sugar Bowl, they were getting booed in New Orleans. That don't happen with Georgia because Ole Miss went there and made that place a home game. So if it's the same circumstances, if it's an Ole Miss home game and Trinidad Chambliss is playing, I would say it's a loss. But if it comes out midsummer and Trinidad's ineligible or whatever happens, then I would say Georgia wins. I'm telling you, that's how big of an impact he makes.
When you're there and you're in those environments year after year, the way Georgia is and the way Ole Miss almost never is, I mean, it makes sense that they would want to go pack out a place like that because, they have all that money saved up from past years. They've never been there. But I will say it is kind of hard for me to pick that game knowing what Trinidad brings to the table. But I don't know. I see this maybe going as an 11-1 season. At least that's what I've got wrote. I don't see them going into Ole Miss and losing again. Although they very well might go into Ole Miss and lose. But if they've won every game up until this, if they've beaten Alabama at Alabama and win on this gauntlet that Georgia has and wins every game, they're undefeated going into Ole Miss, then I could see how that could be different. But I'd like to see Ole Miss's schedule. I don't know how Tennessee and Alabama both avoid having them on the schedule. I know LSU goes to Ole Miss. And like you say, again, that's a guy in Trinidad Chambliss, although Lane Kiffin knows Trinidad very well. I definitely see Ole Miss beating LSU. And I think that Ole Miss could have a pretty good resume by the time that November 7th game rolls around.
Yeah. Well,
that could be a top 10 matchup right there.
It very well could be. And so I guess for me and Chunk's vote, we'll put it down as an L right now. But here, so you've got teams that we do play. A team that we haven't brought up at all that's not on mine or Chunk's schedule as well is Missouri. Now, if you remember, you got Eli Drinkwitz, the head coach. Now, here's a fun fact, or if you want to say it, but if you remember a couple years ago when Georgia went in and played Ole Miss, Jackson Dart got hurt. The quarterback that came in wasn't Trinidad. It was Austin Simmons. And he's now the quarterback from Missouri. He left Ole Miss last year that he was the starter, and then he got hurt. Trinidad came in and never let the job go. So now Austin Simmons has transferred. Now he's going to be the starter at Missouri this year. So what is Eli Drinkwitz going to do? What is Missouri going to be? I don't know what they'll do. I don't know if they'll be as competitive as they have been. But now you got Georgia getting them at home coming off of Ole Miss. What are your thoughts on that one, Michael? Do you think that they just kind of roll over Missouri, or do you think it's a competitive game?
Well, I would hope that they roll over Missouri. But in every game, conference game like we have, it's going to be hard to say that they just walk right over Missouri because if Trinidad Chambliss is their guy and they play Ole Miss, and let's say they win or lose against Ole Miss, Eli Drinkwitz is definitely going to be watching that game. He's going to be watching that game, and he's going to be saying, well, this is how you play Georgia. If Georgia's defense is wishy-washy like it was the early part of last year, they're going to say, well, this is how you play Georgia. You play Georgia with having a quarterback that can do all these things that Trinidad did. So that game is pretty scary for me just because of that factor alone. They're gonna kind of figure out how to play Georgia based on that Ole Miss game the week before.
Well, I was trying to see too on who they played before they played you guys, because usually you got like Georgia coming into you're going to play Georgia. You'd like to have a bye week, but before Missouri plays you guys, they play Texas. So they're going to be playing probably what could be a top 5 team in Texas, and then coming to Georgia. So if you guys are beat up, so will they be. So that could be a big thing and contributed to a win or a loss there. What's your thoughts on it, Chunk?
Well, I mean, I don't care how good Georgia is, buddy. It seems like Missouri always plays Georgia as hard as they can, buddy. Yeah. So I mean, I believe Georgia's going to win, no doubt. But like you said, I didn't know they played Texas, so they're going to be, they're going to be worn out just like Georgia is. But I believe Missouri will put up a fight. But yeah, it's just a no-brainer win for Georgia, buddy.
Yeah, at this point, predicting it, that would be a win. Now, what do you guys think about South Carolina? You got at South Carolina now. You ain't played them at their house in a couple years at this point. Yeah. But now going back to what do they call it? They call that the cockpit. Do they?
They should.
Or they don't. I'm
I
honestly
don't
thinking
know.
that. Do they not?
I don't know.
I really don't know, but it sounds good.
I feel like I've heard that somewhere.
Well, well, hey, Michael, at this point, buddy, Shane Beamer's out of there, so you really ain't got to. This is going to be just another dog walk for Georgia
Yeah.
against South Carolina, no doubt.
You think
Yeah,
at
I
this
mean, they're
point
gonna.
Shane Beamer's gone?
Oh yeah, I think he's out of there, buddy.
Yeah, I think they
New coach.
march right into the cockpit and take care of business. I don't think they
I
stand.
didn't know. I just think,
You may be right, but if you're not,
Yeah.
you stand way more to lose.
yeah. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up. Save my career here.
I don't
know. Oh no.
They said South Carolina has never been called the.
Oh yes.
The cockpit.
Yes.
Really?
The cockpit. Yes,
Okay.
South Carolina
Okay.
Athletics.
So they call them that. Okay.
You can always trust the internet, all right?
You just kiss the cockpit.
I'm just thinking I can go another day. My career is not over.
It might be after what you just did.
No, it was off. It was turned off. It's all right.
I hope so.
It was. I'm just thankful that the internet saved me today.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
ChatGPT, huh?
So then we're going to the Georgia Tech game at home. Georgia isn't a sellout, so we're not going to have it at Mercedes-Benz. It's going to be an actual home game for Georgia on November 28th. So that's another game. I know for a fact Brent Keys, he's been very open about the fact that he hates everything about Georgia. I don't think he has any hatred towards Kirby Smart personally or anything like that, but he hates Georgia. He hates Georgia, and he wants to beat Georgia more than I think anything. So that is always a game that you have to circle. But Georgia seems to always have their number, and I would hope that they continue to have their number and they beat them. Because, man, like I just read something recently that Kirby Smart is very high on Isaiah Canyon that came from Georgia Tech. He said he's like one of the veterans in our wide receiver room, and he was Georgia Tech's guy just a year ago. So, and I guess he thought if you can't beat them, join them. So, hopefully that still stands true to this coming season. But yeah, I would hope that they could beat Georgia Tech, which means I guess for you guys, y'all have Georgia going 10-2, but I have them at that 11-1 mark.
Yeah.
Just because I may see them losing at Alabama. I can very well see that happening. But I would really hope that they could beat Ole Miss, although I know that's not an easy thing to do either. But I
ain't even going to lie to you. When we started this with talking about Georgia, I was like, I don't know if I see a loss. But just as we talked about it and as you looked at, you look at everything. And like I said, I probably got Georgia going 12-0 if it's not for Trinidad Chambliss.
Yeah.
I mean, he honestly is that big to Ole Miss.
Oh, he
that
is.
big.
He is.
I mean, that is just a difference maker.
And that's why they had to line the judges' pockets over there in Mississippi to try to keep him on their team for this season. But I don't know how that's going to unfold. And I know we've talked about this in the past, but Joey Aguilar doesn't get his 6th year of eligibility granted, but then a guy in Trinidad Chambliss does. And I don't think that's right. And I'm not just saying this as a Georgia fan. Whether Trinidad Chambliss is on the field or not, I just want it to be a fair playing field. So if you're going to let Trinidad stay at Ole Miss, then let Joey Aguilar play for Tennessee.
Yeah.
But if you're not going to let Joey Aguilar play for Tennessee this coming season, then you should not have Trinidad Chambliss there either. It's kind of the same complex to me, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking too, though. Nobody can really say that we're homers, even though all of our teams got the over tonight. So nobody can call us homers when all of our teams hit the over. I guess they can. Yeah. That was a joke, guys. You can laugh.
Well, they definitely can call us homers because, I mean, I don't think any of those things, any of our predictions we made are unreasonable, though.
No, not at all.
I would go out on a limb to say that whoever made these over/under win predictions really were pretty tough on whoever they did, because I gotta say I feel like Tennessee is 8-4, if not better. Yeah, I mean, you would hope for Tennessee's sake, and Josh Heupel for sure wants to be better than 8-4, and maybe they'll put it all together and have a better season than that. But to have them at 7.5, Georgia at 9.5, Alabama at 8.5 is just crazy, because I think Georgia's at least a 10-win team. I think Alabama's at least a 10-win team, and I think Tennessee's at least a 9 or 8-win team. So
I just think it's because they know how much like the SEC is just going to cannibalize itself.
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
Because I mean, you think about it. I mean, we're talking about 10-2, 8-4, 11-1. But if you have one of them weeks where you don't show up, you have one of them weeks where it's just like, I'll just lay over. We've been really good. We've been doing this. If you have a week where you don't show up, man, in this league, you can lose.
And we may all be wrong. We may all be wrong on our predictions for that very reason. Like you say, it's back to back to back. You don't even have 2 bye weeks like you had before. So without the 2 bye weeks, adding a conference game to your schedule, it's a juggernaut schedule for all 3 of us.
It will.
It is.
And like I say, I think it's going to be huge. Have you got anything to say there, Chunk?
Yeah, man. Like I think that, I've got Tennessee going 8-4. I've got Georgia going 10-2, and I got Bama going 9-3. Now, like you brought up again, Joey Aguilar.
Where did that come from?
Sorry, Adam. But like the whole Joey Aguilar thing, man. If he was to come back, I could see us going like 10-2 or something like that. But
where I'm still trying to gather that too, because on Georgia
broke it down.
But on Georgia's breakdown, you put that Georgia loses. You can't have them both losing.
Yeah, that's crazy. We both did here. That's the crazy thing. We went and I guess I don't know how it worked out, but yeah, it's just that game with Bama is going to be a coin flip. It seems like, but I'm excited to be talking about this. People may say it's crazy to start a football podcast in the middle of March, but I mean, we just love football. We love football. We love talking about football.
Closer to the season that we get, especially like a couple weeks prior, we can have so many big game matchups we're going to talk about. And then once we get into the season, for all of our fans and stuff, we're going to go live and kind of predict what we think is going to happen. And then we're going to have some post-game shows and talk about, hey, our teams didn't do what we wanted them to or something, which hopefully you guys are saying that. I hope I'm saying, man, Georgia looked great.
Let me tell you guys right now, I don't know if he's still here watching, but if you want to see something funny, let's record some Georgia games with Michael live. That's going to be some money makers. You never seen TVs thrown and
I'm going to need
windows smashed.
If
America's funniest song.
If Georgia loses said game that they have coming up, I'm going to need a little window before we record.
Loses? Man, you could be up 38-0, still be mad. What do we do? Screen on 3rd down.
Well, that's that Kirby Smart and Nick Saban mentality that's already instilled in me. I got to say, man, that when they're up big like that and they make crazy mistakes, I mean, all those guys do that. Well, Nick Saban was the worst about it. You could be up 100-10, and he would be jumping on guys for making simple mistakes, but those simple mistakes turn into big mistakes in big games. So,
that's the difference. You got to be, over the small things, and then the big things come later. You know what I mean? Be very good about details, and then that helps you when the big games come around. So, but like I say, man, it's been fun tonight. I mean, going through all these schedules. I mean, I didn't know he's going to go this long with just 3 teams, but we talked about every game. I mean, we'll break it down into segments, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I can't wait to see you. And next week we're going to talk a little bit tonight, but about the odds to win the national title. So next week we're going to be talking a little bit about spring intel, but then probably going to be talking about the biggest games going into this year. We're going to talk about LSU, Ole Miss. You're definitely going to talk about Bama, Georgia. You got Michigan, Ohio State. You got all these big games, Ohio State, Oregon, all these big games that lead up to that national championship every year. So we're going to be looking at the odds to win the national title next week, and also some of the biggest games coming into the 2026 season. May have mentioned some of them here tonight, but we'll talk about it again next week on the Tri-State Tailgate. But do you have anything you guys like to say before we head out?
No, I think we covered it, touched on all the bases.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You feel good about it, Chunk?
Yeah. Just all my Tennessee fans, take it easy on me, please. Like I said, I'm a realist, man. I'll speak my mind. I'll speak the truth. But yeah, just take it easy on me in the comments, please.
Being a diehard dog fan, and I'm a diehard dog fan. I always have been, even before we were doing anything. And working in the state of Tennessee, those guys are not that fun to work with. They say they're going 12-0 every year. Every year they're going 12-0. So at least you're a realist. And I am too, like the standard that Georgia and Alabama and Tennessee have for themselves. But I still sit down here tonight and say that we'll lose a game or maybe two. So, and maybe worse than that, as much as I hate to say it, but this gauntlet we're about to play. So, yeah, I'd like to be more of a realistic fan base than somebody that gets on here and says, oh, yeah, Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee, all three are going 12-0. Somehow that's going to happen, even though we play each other.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the biggest thing, too, today, I was talking to a guy at Sam's Club, and we was getting some things, and he had, of course, a Roll Tide shirt or a Bama shirt on. I said, Roll Tide, man. And we was talking, and I said, how you think we're going to do this year? And he said, well, I think we'll do all right, probably be good this year. And I was like, I don't want to think that way, man, about the maybe next year. I don't want to be out that Tennessee fan. That's all they say. Maybe next year, maybe next year. I'm all about this year, man. Let's go all the way.
Yeah.
Let's do it. But yeah, we're going to talk about many other things, leading into the season, and we're just hoping everybody here sticks with us. Like, share, and subscribe. And it's been great to see their outreach and the community. Y'all just continue to share our videos, get our content out there. We want to be the brand and the homestay for the Tri-State teams, but also a team that or a podcast you think about when you're thinking college football. You think Tri-State Tailgate. So we love you guys. We appreciate everybody being here. Hope you guys have a blessed afternoon, and we'll see you right here next week on Tri-State Tailgate. And if y'all ready to go the outro, we'll do tailgate on me, tailgate on 3. You ready? 1, 2, 3, tailgate.